Good evening to all of you, and welcome to this online workshop. Just before we start, just let me know through the chat option whether you are getting my voice so we can proceed with the workshop. Thank you for the response. Today's workshop uh, is about understanding mind and mind care. This is a part of the workshop series by Harmony, which is a meditation center by the medical experts located in Kolkata. And here, the focus of all these workshops is to give the healthcare providers some idea about how to care about themselves, that is self care, how to take care of their body and minds. To conduct this workshop, I am Dr. Anirban Pal. I am associated with Harmony. I am a doctor practicing in South Kolkata, and I will take you through this journey today. So let's not waste any further time and get into the contents of today's workshop. So, those who have attended our previous workshop on self care, this is just a snapshot for them as well as those who have not been there. The previous workshop on self care, we understood ourselves as a body and a mind complex. So these are two main components in our existence. There can be many more other components. Just understanding this, we need to take care of our body as well as our minds. And this, as a healthcare provider, becomes very important. So, this is just a snapshot of the last workshop. The link of the previous workshop is available in YouTube, and the dedicated group which has been created, there also the link has been shared. So, those who have missed it out, you can just check out the previous workshop and the teachings there. I think there was some very important teachings on self care. So, we covered what is self care, why this is so important in our lives, and how you can start with self care. We talked a little bit about how to manage your daily schedule or daily time, and some simple things you can do to take care of your body and your mind. Okay, I think the volume is fine for all of you. Okay, nice. Thank you. Thank you for this confirmation. So today we will talk about our minds. So I will start with a small story, which is actually a real life story of mine. And I will take you through certain aspects of understanding the mind and, if possible, how to take care of your minds. This will be just an introduction to this, just the basics of understanding this. So, when I was a child, my father, in those days, it was many years back, he bought a second hand car. So he was a practicing doctor and he need to move to lot of places, lot of hospitals he need to go and serve the patients out there. So he needed something personal, a vehicle to move about. So at that time, he bought a second-hand car. It was an old one, and that is the most he could afford at that time. Now, we were very excited to have a new car in those days, and so-called new car. And along with that excitement came some problems. The problems with that car was it was an old one, so there was many technical issues with the car. So every day morning, getting it started was a major headache because it would not take a usual start. And many of you who are used to modern cars will not imagine our situation because it was really a challenge. And at times, the car would suddenly stop at certain places and it would not again take a start. So, technical issues were major. And along with that, uh, the thing was my father was uh, getting more bothered. He took that car for his convenience. He took that car to help him to move to places. So it was something to be of very good advantage to him. But because of those technical issues, he was getting too much bothered and he didn't know what to do with that thing. But he did something. He thought about the problem and what he can do about these things. So he started gathering knowledge about cars, and he had a few friends to whom he connected and asked, and he also knew a few mechanics or those people, so he connected with them also, and there were certain problems which were happening technically, and those problems can be fixed to some extent if you have the knowledge and little bit of skill to do them. In the next few months, he actually gathered those skills and knowledge, and that helped him to tackle the problems better. I would not say that it was totally he could get handle the situation. It was under 100% control, but the certain things and certain trials he did. So in most of the cases, he could start the car because he could find out that what was the fault and he could make certain minor changes or certain things he would be doing through which he was able to solve the problem to some extent. And thankfully, after that, that car was, as far as I remember, it was with my father for a very long time. It was around 10 years. Okay. And he managed it well. Maybe after that initial hitch of few months where he was just understanding the mechanism of the car and doing some tidbits with it, and that whole thing, maybe after a few months, the car was quite smooth in that way. So it hardly every day, by somehow, by some means, he would be able to start the car. And also, very less would have been certain instances where it stopped, and he could also manage those things. So I think this story is one of my real life stories. And there is a very important message in this story, an important learning, not only for me, I think for all of us, that just think of our minds. It is one component in our existence. It is something which is there inside you. In the last class, I told that it is quite like a software. So if your body is the hardware, so your mind is the software. And Just imagine that if you know certain things about the mind, it will be easier for you to handle your minds. So, from my end, I would suggest that all of you who are here or who are listening to me, it's important that you start understanding your mind. Okay. So you don't need to have to be an expert. So just like that car, so some suppose some major defects happen with the car, then you have to take it to the workshop. And then you need the experts, you need the mechanics, you need those people who have that expertise to deal with it. But maybe some minor problems are more frequent. Just as we said that it is seen that in the healthcare providers, 80% of us are suffering from stress, and nearly 50% of us are suffering from anxiety or depression, and maybe other different psychological morbidities. So, you don't need to be a psychiatrist to handle your minds. And the interesting thing about this is, it is, if any of you are a psychiatrist, please don't take this otherwise. Just a few months ago, one of my very close friend, who is a psychiatrist, who attended certain mind training classes with me, and what I find that his mind is the worst among other participants who are rather common people. So they are more conversant with handling the minds of their patients or certain diseased conditions of the mind. That is a very different perspective. That is a very different thing. But when it comes to his or her own mind, I found that person, himself or herself, is a total loss, or his mind was perhaps the most chaotic one. So it is not organized in that way. But he is a professional, he is a very famous psychiatrist and is dealing with multiple patients, and he is very good in his field. There is no problem with that. So, what I'm trying to convey to all of you is understanding your own mind is a different ball game altogether. How your mind reacts, how what are the common thoughts coming to your mind, or what are your common fears, what are the uncertainties which bother you very much. These things, if you start observing them, if you start understanding them, it will be much more helpful for you to live a healthy life. Okay, so that is my perspective. Yes. Uh, and I think there is a very important input which has come through the chat. I would just mention that point also here, that suppose you have a house, okay? So, can other people enter your house? No, because your house has an entrance gate. Some sort of gate must be there, the main gate or something, the main door, and it is you who have the key to that gate. So if it is your house, then you must be having the key. And if you even share the keys, there must be 2 3 keys maximum in the family. So other people don't have the key. So here for yourself, you have direct access to your minds. No other people have direct access to your minds, because it is a component of your existence. Other people can give you suggestions, other people can help you out with different things, they can help you to understand things, but you have the key. So it is directly under you. Please understand this. So you have an access to it which other peoples don't have. So if you understand this, this is very important. And only your understanding of the whole picture, how that component of your existence is functioning, the functionality of that component, if you even get some understanding of it, I can tell you that this will totally change your life. It can be really life transforming. You can't even imagine what transformation is going to come to your life if you start understanding that how your mind is functioning, at least the basic functionalities. Okay. Now I would be giving you some suggestions where which you can use in your life. Very simple suggestions to take care of your mind. So, obviously, understanding the mind will require a time, will require some effort. So, if you start from today, maybe after a few, say, a few weeks, few months, few years, you will start understanding certain patterns of your behavior or how the things are going on. But simultaneously, you can do very simple things to care for your mind. Okay. And for this, you don't need some major knowledge or major skill, just a simple understanding or some little information. If you just think about those and you try to implement some small changes, then there can be a change in the overall scenario. How to take care of your minds even without understanding how the mind is functioning. So if you remember that story of the car, so my father didn't turn into a mechanic. Still he doesn't know very much, very details, or he has not transformed from a doctor to a mechanic. He's still a doctor, but that small knowledge and the small skills which he gathered helped him to deal with the troubled car. So, one very simple suggestion will be that throughout the day, there are certain things happening in your life. Different events or incidents are happening in your life. So, maybe if you can just spend a few minutes at the end of the day and just select out certain events or remember certain events which had made you happy or which has given you joy. Those can be very, very minute or very minor things in your life. Just picking up those events and just cherishing those events or just reinforcing those moments once again. Okay. And there must be certain things going on, and these things are a major part of our life because we work in a health sector. So, and most of us, we work in toxic environments. So a lot of negativity is around in form of people, in form of situations, in form of different things. So if you can just, I would not say avoid, but some sort of ignoring those things and just reinforcing the positive things which are happening in your life. Because what happens in reality is those negative things which are happening every day in our life overshadows the positive things. So you need to take special care to just remember those minute positive things happening in your life. I can give you some examples. Suppose uh, you get a small call from today. I got a call from my friend. Hmm. So if you get a call from your school friend and you just speak to him for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, so you see that that is something makes you happy. So you again connect for those 3 minutes to your school days and those fun days of your school. So it gives you happiness. Or maybe just, I'm just coming from the OT. So in between two OTs, some one of my students, he came and offered me two biscuits. Okay. So you see that you just spend that 2-3 minutes, you exchange some words, and she was just distributing the biscuits to everyone. Uh, so you have those ones and you feel happy. So these are very, very small things happening in our life. And I was leaving the hospital. So one of the OT staff, he said, "Sir, just wait for a few minutes." Uh, and he offered me some black tea, which he himself has prepared for. He has prepared it for himself. He shared it with me. So you see that sudden a few moments which you spend, and among all the stress, all the negativities, all the hard work you do every day, and so much of problems, you are just struggling, maybe with your profession, with your family, with your own health problems, with the health problems of others. So there are hundreds of problems around you. In between this minuscule of positive things are also happening. Some of us, we are, who are more into some service sort of thing, so these positive things happen more. Or maybe those who are into palliative care or those things, so definitely those things happen more to them. But for others also, who think that such events are very less, but they are continuously happening. So at the end of the day, maybe in the evening time, if you just spend a few minutes just thinking, today, let me just go through once again through the day and just remember as many events I can think of, which has given me a little bit of happiness, little bit of joy. They can be just a single event, they can be maybe more than one. So just this, making this very simple habit of remembering certain positive things throughout the day which is happening in your life. And if you go on doing this, this can actually make a positive shift in your life. So if you go on doing this every day, at the end of the day or in the evening time, whenever you have a little time, just think about that, what today, what things have happened in my life which has given me happiness, which has given me peace. Okay, just think about this, and you will see that immediately your mood will change, your mind will change. Okay. So, and it can be a very simple thing. If you can remember only one thing throughout the day, that is fine. If you can remember more, that is also okay. Try doing this. It will take hardly any time, and it takes hardly any effort. It doesn't require any special skills. A very simple thing. Just remembering the good things of today. Okay. So please try doing this. And the next one is, I don't know whether you have noticed this, uh, that is developing a helping attitude. So, whether you have noticed that when you help someone, it can be any person, anyone, you will see that there is a feeling of happiness and peace inside you, and you don't mean in that way, or you don't want something back from that person. This is not a give and take sort of thing. Okay. So you are just randomly, maybe in the process of your living, maybe you can be just sharing some information or doing certain things. Help doesn't mean, many people think like this, that by help it has to be some financial help, or it is not like that. I'm not talking about those things. Okay. So it can be financial, that is different. But suppose someone calls me and asks for some help regarding some consultation. Okay. So today I remember that one of my colleague was asking me that how to he needs some help regarding some person who deals with a specialty, medical specialty. Okay. So I just shared a person's name in that way. So someone dealing with critical patients. So I just shared with that person the name, and I said that if you need his number, I also have this. Okay. So you see that this is something which any one of us we can do, and if you just try doing this, we yes, we are limited in our capacities. It is not that I can do a lot for everyone, or it is not possible, but maybe I can do something. So sometimes, suppose this call comes and I really don't know anyone who can help out in that situation, or someone's number I can share. So obviously, in that situation, I am helpless. But many a times I have found that if I just think around, I can do something. So you will see that throughout the day, you will get opportunities where people or certain situations will demand your help. And I am not telling you to go way out and do whatever possible, not like that, but do whatever is possible within your limits. Because most of the time, most of the people, we keep our doors and windows closed. We don't even try to do this. Suppose it will require me to do something, maybe call another person, or do stretch myself a little bit. That day I was returning from hospital, and a known person, that person said that if you can, he didn't ask for, so he wanted to go to some place. Okay. So I understood that if I can just drop that person to that place, and for that I have to take a little longer route of my car. So that is what I tried, to take the longer route and drop him at his place and then come back home. So you see, these are very small things. But that small doing, somewhere inside myself, it actually gives me a little bit of happiness, a feeling that in some way I have been useful to another person. It can be very minor. It is very, it is not even significant in that way. But still, just by doing that, you will see that your mood gets elevated. And I think you can just try doing this, that every day you just make sure that somehow, if one person gets touched by your help, this is a very small thing. Okay. So every day at the end of the day, I try to at least remember that today, whether I have done at least one thing which has helped in any very small way any other person. And once you start doing it, the small things, they actually create inside you small happiness, which comes together or accumulates together, and creates a change, a shift in your state of the mind. Okay. So this is another suggestion. These are very simple things. Any one of us, we can do this. It doesn't require us to totally change our lives or do something uh, exceptional things. We are already doing this. Maybe we can extend ourselves a little bit. And if we are not doing this and we are not uh, trying this, I'm just telling you to try this out. The more you try them out, and obviously you maintain your boundaries, you maintain your limits, wherever you feel that this can be a little uncomfortable from either ends, or you feel that this will be a little bit overwhelming for me, or I think that this will not be okay for me. So you always have the boundary to stop and not extend it further. Okay, so that is always there. But I think this small trying to helping others, almost if you can do it every day, at least one person, I think this is something which is going to change your inner psyche, take it to a positive, positive end. And uh, something called as mindfulness. So many of you know that I am a mindfulness expert, or rather, this harmony. This is basically this teaches mindfulness. So we train people in mindfulness, and we do research with mindfulness. And many people know me because of mindfulness. So I will be sharing some words about this to really understand mindfulness and to practice mindfulness. It takes a lot of time and effort. I can share my experience that it took me probably many months or years to actually understand that what this mindfulness thing is. But one thing I can share with all of you, that this mindfulness, and it I personally believe that it requires a structured training, a good trainer to understand and know mindfulness. And not only this, it requires a lot of persistence and hard work. So at the start, you need to work on this. Then only you can take it further and you start understanding the deeper things and how it is changing. If someone can adopt mindfulness, this thing which I have been discussing, that understanding the mind or changing the mind or taking care of the mind or training the mind, there can be different phrases to describe it. All these things can be taken care. Mindfulness is such a big thing. It can take care of the own whole psyche. Okay, it can totally transform it. But that will take time and effort and a lot of interest into this. So, can't we start with this? Or all of us, those who doesn't have that strong intent of learning it, certain things I would share with you, which are so called different aspects of mindfulness, and but those things are very simple. So you can also try it out without understanding the whole mechanism of it or how it is helping you, how it is working with you. Okay. So those who don't know, mindfulness has a formal definition. It says that to keep the mind in the present moment in a non judgmental manner with a purpose. So, the definition is a little bit difficult to understand for anyone who is hearing it for the first time. So, what is the present moment, and where is the mind, and how to be non judgmental? And a lot of things are put into the definition, and there has to be a purpose also. So, let's try to understand it in a easier manner. Okay. So, if you have ever got a chance to see what is going on inside yourself, most of us, we are very busy in our lives with lot of commitments, lot of work, lot of responsibilities. So we are running in our lives very busy with our families, with our profession, with other things, with health problems, everything going on. So we hardly get time to look into ourselves. But if you ever have noticed, you will see that there is a continuous narration going on inside your mind. Someone is talking inside you. Okay? If you have not noticed, notice it. So some talk is going on inside yourself. And this talk is a non-stop talk. Something is being continuously going on. Some talk is there, the inner talk. And when you even sleep at the end of the day, when the physical body takes rest, many a times you will see that this narration or this mental talk goes on. And suppose you are tired and you want to take rest, many a times you will see that this narration appears quite disturbing. Okay? So you can just be aware of this phenomenon which is going on inside yourself. And may I ask you that when you notice that this narration is going on, first of all, you have to notice it, you have to be aware of it. Just start asking, is this narration helpful for me? You will get the answer from inside yourself. The narration which is going on continuously, is it helping me in any ways in my life? Just ask and try to get that answer. Okay? I think this is doable for all of us to identify whether someone is talking inside us, a inner voice is something is going on, some talks. Just try to identify, and if possible, ask that whether this is helpful for me. Try to find out the answer. Is it helping me in any ways? This continuous narration. The next thing you can do is to see your minds. If you have, you can, if you can just take out some small time throughout the day, you can just see that what is going on inside my mind. Okay, just a very passive observation. Which thoughts come to my mind more frequently? What are the worries which are very frequently coming to my mind? Okay. Or what are the different fears I have about my life? Which thing bothers me more? Which uncertainties are there? Just a very simple observation. Certain, you will start understanding certain patterns inside yourself. Certain thoughts are very frequent. They come almost every day or multiple times in a day, or they are very frequently bothering you. There are certain patterns of thinking. It will help you to understand different situations, how you behave in certain situations, where you get angry, in which situations, how you behave when someone opposes you or when someone criticizes you. What are the pattern of thoughts then? Or maybe there is a difficult person in your profession or in your life, and when that person comes in front of you, how you feel, what are the inner environment, what are the type of thoughts that are there inside your mind. This observation is very interesting. So whenever you have a little time, instead of investing it in the internet or in the social media or in other things you do, you can just utilize that time to observe your mind. And I can guarantee that will be very much helpful for you, this observation. And you can be a gatekeeper. What is this? Suppose you have a small garden in your house and you have some beautiful flowers and fruits maybe in that garden. Now you see that every day someone comes, or maybe more than one person comes, and they steal the flowers, they steal the fruits which you have cultivated with so much of effort in your garden. So what you do? How you can prevent that stealing? You bring in a gatekeeper. You ask a person, or maybe you live in a multi-storied building, you live in a community, so you ask the community that please place a gatekeeper. I need to protect my garden. And if you live in an individual house, you just appoint someone that I think in the night time this theft is happening, the stealing is happening. So you sit and look. Okay, so you place someone who will be looking into the thing, giving a check. And what will happen? If someone is there to check things, the stealing will not happen. So be a gatekeeper of your mind. This is not very difficult. So just observing it, and certain situations when you find that you are behaving in not the usual way, or your behavior is inappropriate, or in certain phases you feel that these particular situations I get depressed or I get into a negative mood, just identifying those situations, being a gatekeeper to just protect your inner psyche, which is already there inside yourself, the mind which is there with you. So you are just protecting it by being a gatekeeper of it. And this will lead you to the control of emotions. So a lot of people come to me and they ask that, you see, doctor, I get angry in certain situations, or I lose control of myself in certain situations. And is it possible to control those emotions, those negative emotions, my anger or some other emotions, which are so called negative emotions? There are certain outbursts or certain places where I feel that I should not be doing like this. But is it actually possible to control those things? Actually, it is possible. The whole concept of mindfulness is as you go deep into the training, as you persist with the teachings, you can control even your most difficult emotions. You start with thoughts, feelings, and slowly at some point you have a choice where you can act in a different manner without expressing the usual emotion you should have expressed by your habit. You have a choice of doing it differently. So that is also possible. So here also, even if you don't get into those things, the deeper things, maybe somewhere you are feeling extremely angry, or someone has said something and you are feeling extremely irritated, you can just ask yourself that is it possible for me to not act in a habitual manner? So because maybe you get angry and you shout out and the whole situation becomes messy. This happens very often in our healthcare environment, in hospitals, in outpatients, with other people. Someone says you something which makes you extremely uh, you get extremely angry with that, and then you think that you should be shouting. Because I see people around me who are working with me, sometimes they behave in such peculiar manner. It is so distressing for the patients, for the persons themselves, and when the whole thing settles down, they would be just apologizing to everyone and just being very guilty of acting like that. So just at that moment when you are just going to be extremely angry, if you just ask yourself that whether this is the right place to do the right thing, and whether my expression of my negative emotion, it is the right place of doing it, or whether I have other alternatives to do it. Maybe just a little check before you burst out, or where you feel totally overwhelmed. Just asking yourself that whether expressing that emotion, whether this is the appropriate place for and appropriate people around me. Okay. So I think this you can just take a note of. And the whole concept of mindfulness and meditations, this is creating an inner space where your actions actually change. So this I would request all of you to connect back to the story from where we started this session. Is there was a car. The car has multiple technical issues. Most of the issues were minor issues. Okay. So at the start, it was giving a lot of trouble. But with certain adjustments, with certain knowledge, with certain skills, with certain understanding, the car was almost running smoothly without any major hassle. Okay. So the same with our minds. We, I can guarantee 99% of us know nothing about the functionality of our mind. So today I also own a car. To be very true, I know nothing about the functionalities of the car. I can only drive the car. No knowledge about the mechanics or the inner things. So if some problem happens, unfortunately, I have to go to the workshop. I have to go to a mechanic or someone and take that person. The same thing is happening with your minds. So you see that's something which you are not at all knowledgeable about. You know nothing about it. And those who think that you know, actually, those people are also in an illusion. They think that I know a lot. Okay. Some people have those illusions themselves. So hardly you know anything about one component of your existence called as the mind, which is determining how you are living your life. So you have a car that is very fine. That car helps you to take you to different places. That car is very essential in your life, but you know nothing about the car. So if tomorrow, if the car doesn't take a start, you are helpless. The same thing is happening with your mind also. Sometimes in certain situations, you see that you are so helpless, or at certain circumstances, you feel so overwhelmed, or you feel so stressed because there is a malfunction going on and you cannot fix it. It can be a minor thing. But as you have very little understanding of this inner psyche, it overwhelms you. So, to care for your minds, it's very important. The whole process of mindfulness is about organizing your mind in a very structured format. The whole thing is about training your mind to get into a very organized mind. It takes time. It takes a lot of understanding. It takes some amount of effort. Okay. So if you have an organized mind, that definitely helps you in your life, in whatever you are doing. Just like that car. So some knowledge about the car, some tidbits about the mechanics is actually helping to run the car smoothly. The same thing you need to develop. And to start with, this mind care, today we discussed three things. These may appear very simple to you, but I can just assure you, if you start doing it within a few weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks, you will see that there is certain changes in your life. There is a positive change in your life. The first thing was to appreciate the things which give you happiness or joy. Small, small things. Just remembering them at the end of the day or in your leisure time. It will hardly take a few minutes. Every day, just take a few minutes and remember today, these things I have done or I have gone through has given me my little bit of happiness. Okay. And you reinforce those things. Appreciate yourself for doing those things. That is very important. And ignoring the toxic things, the negative things, don't reinforce them. Just keep them aside. Okay. They can also be dealt with. But for the time being, here you are doing only positive reinforcement. The next thing is take the opportunity to help others in very small ways, in very simple ways. Okay. Not for helping that person or that situations. It is for yourself. Because once you do a very little thing for others, there is something, there is a minor change, positive change inside your psyche, which helps you to feel good, which helps you in a way to make you feel that your life is worth living in that small way. So try this out. Whenever you have an opportunity, maybe you just need to do something, some little modifications, or just extend your hands in some ways. Try it out. Don't cross your limits. Don't be going overwhelming or doing something extraordinary. Don't try those things. Very simple things, just try it out. And regarding mindfulness, today I have just tried to give you a few ideas that how mindfulness is all about. Mindfulness is a structured training that cannot be covered in this way. You have to go through that training, be into it. I cannot teach you swimming. If you ask that some ways, please teach me, I can give you certain styles of swimming. It can be a freestyle, it can be other uh, things, it can be a backstroke, it can be, I can tell you something about the swimming, how it happens, how you need to develop the skill. But to learn swimming, you have to get into the water and try to swim yourself and learn the swimming out there. The same with the mindfulness. You have to get into the training and be with it, understand it, and then the whole process will happen. Okay. But I have given you some suggestions where you can just try it out, observing the mind, seeing your thoughts, being the gatekeeper. Okay, some very simple things without going into the depth of the thing, just trying it out on yourself and seeing that whether you can act differently in certain situations. Okay, you can just try this out, the simple things, some snippets out of mindfulness. And I hope that if you can implement this simple things, uh, there will be a positive shift in your mind, and you will be able to take care of your mind in a better way. So we are nearly at the end of today's workshop. I will be taking a few calls, so I will allow the participants to unmute. So if any of you have any query, you can ask me, and I will try to answer regarding this. And if you have liked this session, please give a feedback in the WhatsApp group, because if we find that a lot of people are liking these workshops, we will be conducting many more similar workshops, and we'll try to help you out to take care of your body and mind. Yes, I think Dr. Rudronil wants to say something. Yes.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Nice session, sir, first of all. And I really like that point that whenever about your advice on that particular colleague scenario, that whenever I am not liking a particular colleague, how should I do in order to, the basic thing, as I understood, is that I need to restrain myself from showing any adverse reactions. Right, sir?
Yes. Yes.
The basic thing is that, and there are ways in which the different persons deal with it differently. Okay.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yes, please share some light that okay, if at all it is possible that that person is from the same department, okay, and I have to meet that particular person every day.
Mm-hmm.
So how should one approach the situation? So please share some light on this
Okay.
particular scenario.
I think this is a very nice question, because most of the challenges or the difficulties come from people whom we have to deal daily. They can be
Yes,
our
sir.
departmental colleagues, and those who are into family. We know that some persons who are most close to us, and that the challenge is more there, because that person has to be dealt every day in every situations. Okay. So I think one nice way of understanding it, that we all have our minds, and our minds are all different. Okay, just the basics of it. So my frequency of my mind, or how it is functioning, is very different from another person's mind. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So these two frequencies are not going to match. So my thoughts, my feelings, my understandings are different. Another person's functionality of the mind is very different. So if you have a little bit of idea about your functionality, you will also understand that the other person's functionality is very different, and that person is acting from his or her functionality of mind. I will give you a very small example. Recently, it happened. This is my life's real story. Just last week, it happened. My child was very sick. Okay. he was admitted in a hospital, and I was in a very crisis situation in my life, because a lot of problems were happening, and what was the exact diagnosis, and he also underwent an operation out there. So a lot of medical problems were happening. Okay. In that state of the mind, one of my colleagues, fortunately that colleague is not in this group of participants, that colleague called me, and there was a sort of party, departmental party will be happening, and he was asking me to contribute money for that party. Okay. So you can just imagine my state of mind. And it is not that that person didn't know about my situation, may not be the totality of the situation, but everyone knew, at least the people in my department, they knew that I am going through some problem, family problem, and that is a major problem, because I am unable to attend the hospital also at that time. So that person is talking about the party thing, and so you can imagine the amount of irritation, and the whole the how my I was feeling at that time. And there was a lot of, I'm not going into the details of it, but I was facing a financial issue also regarding that admission, and payments and other things. And then he was asking for it, and that amount of money is not a very small amount. It is quite a, at least for me, it's a quite a huge amount. Okay. And and what he the person was saying that you have to do it now. And I said that presently I don't have money in that way, and I don't have access, whatever things are there with me, UPI and those things. I don't have proper access to that amount of money, and I cannot spend that money at this moment of time, because I may need my this money for a more important thing. Okay, at any moment of time I need to get that, use that. So you can understand the amount of irritation that person created inside me. But what I, as I started with you, that I just comforted myself just by saying that that person's mind is working in a different frequency. So that person can't even 1% understand my situation, my crisis, my suffering, my sorrow, my financial condition. He is totally oblivious of the whole thing. And without understanding the whole thing, that person is acting in that way. So when I looked at the situation from this perspective, it became much easier for me to handle the situation, and also comfort myself that okay, that is okay for that person. That person will never understand my situation. Okay. So whatever, however he or she is acting, let him act. Just let me ensure that I am not affected by his words or by his behavior. Because if I get affected, so what is happening, that he or she is actually controlling my mind, or my inner psyche is getting controlled by that person by saying a few words, or by just behaving in certain manner. If I start reacting to that situation, I will lose total control over my mind. So in that way, I comforted myself. I handled the situation. I didn't say any word. I didn't show any sort of negative emotions to that person. I just tried to say a few lines that I am in a very crisis situation. Just give me a little bit of time. Okay. I told that person, and just got that time. And as soon as I had access to that money, it was not possible that day. The next day, the situations changed and everything was sorted out, and I just handed over that thing. Okay. So, in this way, you have to manage situations, manage your own inner self. If you just start reacting that why this person is so insensitive, why this person is bothering me in spite of my explaining the whole thing, because other persons will not understand you. Okay. This is how the people around you are. Okay. You have to understand it yourself. Yes, I think I have been able to clarify your doubt.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Okay, any other question?
Dr. Paul, can I ask
Yes,
a question?
yes, Helen, how are you? Yes, any?
Good, good. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. My question is, what does means the gatekeeper? That one question. Second one is, right now I already process the meditation every single day 2 times, sometimes 1 times for right now is already 3 months. But I feel that nothing changed. So
Yes, yes.
I don't know. I'm expect something or I supposed to expect something.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you. That's my question.
Okay. So you want me to talk a little bit about the gatekeeper concept. Gatekeeper, you see the the situation which I just narrated in this moment. There, this function of the gatekeeper came. My usual habitual way of reacting in that would have been to shout out to that person and to say something, some words that why you are unable to understand and why you are behaving like this in spite of being my colleague working in the same department in the same place or something like that, why you are so insensitive as a human being, some sort of things I should have said. Okay, by a habitual manner. Usually people react in this way. So here this gatekeeper function was actually placed. So the gatekeeper ensures that you don't react in certain ways. But if I would have reacted, that would have not helped the situation. Rather, the whole situation would have been worsened. Okay, there would have been an emotional breakdown from my end, because at that time it was very important for myself to hold my inner psyche, because it was a real crisis situation of mine. I need to react, I need to take very important decisions which are threatening life of a person. Okay, so very important decisions has to be taken by me. So at that time I cannot lose my inner psyche. So here the gatekeeper function was used. The gatekeeper ensured that I don't do something very, very, which is not acceptable and which will probably worsen the whole thing, the worsen the relationship, or worsen the whole situation, worsen everything. Okay, at that moment. So that was the check which was put without just a normal reaction that I am in a crisis. I will be dealing with you later. Just give me some time. That was without getting into the detailed explanation of the situation or without even trying to explain the situation, because that person will not be able to understand, that sort of person with that quality of mind. So you take it on it. Okay. So that was the gatekeeper function. So it happens, you will see in your life that certain situations, you just give a check that you don't react in the usual way. You check yourself and just take a step backwards and then start observing the whole thing. So it is not getting into according to your emotions, just holding yourself back and then later you will appreciate that what you have done is something which is truly appreciable. Because if you have done your in your habitual pattern, that would have worsened the situation to a major extent. Okay, so that is a example of the gatekeeper situation. And the next thing is you said that you are practicing meditations daily or something like that, and whether to expect. So the changes in sort of mindfulness or some practices, initially there is some changes, then there is a plateau phase. Okay, so you don't get the changes very rapidly. When you understand that your psyche has changed at the initial training part, maybe in a month or so, you can understand that there has been a shift, there has been a transformation somewhere. Okay. Then there is a plateau phase and it continues for months. So there comes in the persistence that you have to continue with the practice, with the practice, with the practice. And after a long period of time, and it depends on person to person, it can be a few months or maybe years, at certain point you will understand that the whole psyche has changed. But it is not like that some you will understand it daily or weekly, that some changes are happening, because the changes are so subtle, the changes are so deep, you will not be able to make out those changes easily. But when there has been a massive transformation, when there has been a massive shift in that way, then only will be able to understand that how I have changed as a person. Okay, with the practice of meditation, with the practice of mindfulness. So that time has not come in your case, because it has been hardly very less time in terms of mindfulness practice or in terms of meditation practice. Okay. I think I have exceeded the time of today's workshop by 10 minutes, and hope all of you have enjoyed it. So please give a feedback in the group. You can also give, I will try to put the recording of the video in our YouTube channel, so you can watch it later also and understand it. Maybe you want to listen to my words again and again in different ways, and there also you can give the feedback. So if we feel that we are getting a lot of positive feedbacks and a lot of people are liking our sessions, we will be continuing these workshops to help you out, and we will not stop this series. We will be continuing to helping the healers. So I would just like to thank all of you for taking out your time and listening to it and trying to understand some tidbits of your mind and the functions of your mind. The more you get inside yourself, the more it will be better for yourself to understand your mind, and slowly you can take care of your mind in a better way. Okay. Thank you all. We will meet probably in the next workshop. Thank you once again.